Factions is dead. We're gonna talk about it. Oh man. Oh man. It happened. It happened. After all this time, after Bungie went in to Naughty Dog's house and made them throw everything that they've been working on right out the door, it has been officially confirmed that Naughty Dog is canceling The Last of Us factions. Mm, mm. Let's go ahead and let's take a look exactly what was said here, right? So first of all, Naughty Dog out in these streets, they put out a tweet. Says an update on The Last of Us Online. Now, if you notice, can't reply. Cannot reply. I wonder what they think is going to be said. Let's go ahead and open it up. All right. So we're on Naughty Dog's website here, December 14th. This is all official stuff. Okay. There's no bamboozling going on over here. All right. So they have this letter that they go ahead and they put out. So let's read it, right? Let's read it. Let's see what Naughty Dog is feeling right now. So they say an update on The Last of Us Online. We realize many of you have been anticipating news around the project that we've been calling The Last of Us Online. There's no easy way to say this. We've made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development on that game. Now, we made the incredibly difficult decision. We, I mean, from what we know, that we was a Bungie who came in and let them know that this was not it. So I think they're a little loose with the we phrasing there. They say we know this news will be tough for many. Tough for many. Oh, the pony tears, it's so great. Especially our dedicated The Last of Us factions community who have been following our multiplayer ambitions ardently. We're equally crushed at the studio as we were looking forward to putting it in your hands. We wanted to share with you some background of how we came to this decision. Okay, let's see. Let's see why this has happened. The multiplayer team has been in pre production with this game since we were working on The Last of Us Part 2. Damn, that's a long ass time to just toss it away. That's crazy. Crafting an experience we felt was unique and had tremendous potential. As the multiplayer team iterated on their concept for The Last of Us Online during this time, their vision crystallized. The gameplay got more refined and satisfying, and we were enthusiastic about the direction in which we were headed. In ramping up to full production, the massive scope of our ambition became clear. To release and support The Last of Us Online, we'd have to put all our studio resources behind supporting post launch content for years to come, severely impacting development on future single player games. So we had two paths in front of us: become a solely live service game studio, or continue to focus on single player narrative games that have defined Naughty Dog's heritage. So is this where Bungie came in and told them, like, this is not gonna be enough, like, you're not gonna just be able to make this and be done with it, you're gonna have to keep going forever." Naughty Dog punked out. They were like, "Nope, we can't do it. We can't do it. Sony, don't make us." Oh god. We are immensely proud of everyone at the studio that touched this project. Their learnings and investments in technology from this game will carry into how we develop our projects and will be invaluable in the direction we are headed as a studio. We have more than one ambitious, brand new single player game that we're working on here at Naughty Dog. And we cannot wait to share more about what comes next when we're ready. Until then, we're incredibly thankful to our community for your support throughout the years. Oh man, that was beautiful. That was touching. So basically, they had this game in pre production since The Last of Us Part 2, since they were working on it. So that's not even talking from release. This is from when they were working on it. And that's when they were trying to make it so that they can, I guess, launch it with The Last of Us. That was clear that wasn't gonna happen, so like, okay, we're just gonna keep going. So my question is, if they had a team working on multiplayer, and then it looks like they're saying they have more than one single player game, right? So we have more than one ambitious, brand new single player game that we're working on here at Naughty Dog. More than one. So the studio is big enough to have more than one single player game in production, but we're supposed to just kind of take the fact that the multiplayer team wasn't big enough. So what were they doing this whole time? Now it becomes clear. Now I understand why Bungie went in there and slapped them up. This is Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is supposed to be the big dogs of knowing what they're doing. And they went ahead and spent years wasting all of this money on a multiplayer mode that they believed in all the way up until Bungie stepped in. Man, to be a fly on that wall, huh? To be a fly on the wall and see what they said and how they reacted to what they saw. Because they say it here, right? Like once the vision crystallized, the gameplay got more refined and satisfying, and we were enthusiastic about the direction in which we were headed. Like the direction that they were headed was straight down, my man. Wow. I can't believe that they went ahead and went through all this time for nothing. For nothing. Literally a waste of time. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. This is the thing. Earlier today, Blade had some concept art that was released officially by Arcane Leon. And it looks dope. It looks dope. Um, it's honestly, it looks really cool. I should have had it up here, um, but the big thing that was taking place and what was happening was that you had the ponies who were out here comparing Last of Us factions, Last of Us factions concept art, okay, comparing it to Blade, right? Now, this is what this is what I'm trying to explain to these ponies that don't get it, okay? This is why we say we are not the same, okay? This is why we are not in the same league anymore. Sony could not help Naughty Dog bring that multiplayer game to fruition. Why? because they couldn't afford to do it. Okay. So they couldn't afford to spend the money necessary to bring in the talent needed to help support that studio, to give them the time needed, right? Because they've been working on it for so long. Why not give them some more time so that they can iron it out, work it out, and make it happen? This is where the difference comes in. Okay. And this is why, also over here on the Xbox side of things, we're trying to we're trying to show you and explain to you so that you guys can understand why it's so important that Xbox is in the space now with the backing of Microsoft. See, your scenario over in Ponyland is that a game comes out, if it's not going to do well or if it's not doing well, the game is gone. Because again, PlayStation can't afford to keep that game going. Meanwhile, on our side, we've had multiple games that have released that are live service games that, because of the backing of Phil and Microsoft and Xbox and Satya, they were allowed to take games that maybe started a little bare bones, and they were allowed to pour resources into it, to go ahead and give them the time to make these games something that people are now consuming at a crazy level. You're talking games like Sea of Thieves, been supported for God knows how long already, and it's not stopping. It keeps growing. You got Grounded, same thing. Came out a little bare bones, but they kept working on it, kept growing it, kept making it more appealing. They just launched like their Forge type mode. Boom, again, growing, right? Growing. More people are coming to play that game, all in the millions of players. Halo Infinite, amazing single player game, amazing multiplayer game at launch. Live content service wasn't there, right? It wasn't up to snuff. There were too many people who wanted more than what they were able to give. And what Phil do? He shook up everything that was going on at 343, and he went ahead and gave them the time, the resources, the money, the freedom to go ahead and work on this game. Now we're at what, season 5, and it is one of the best seasons of Halo that have ever been released. Game player numbers are going up. The engagement is through the roof. This is what happens when you have the backing of Xbox, when you have the backing of Microsoft, when you have Phil and Satya on your side. That's why we're not the same. And this is the issue that you're going to see not just now, but in the future. Naughty Dog, the only reason we're hearing about them right now is because they were the ones who were going to be first up. They were supposed to be dropping this game already. We were supposed to be playing this game already. But we are hearing about them because now they're out. Remember, they've already pushed out what, 6 games to 2026? We're supposed to get 6 by 2025. We could go ahead and scratch 1 off that list already. Now we got 5 left. Which one's next to drop? Which one's next on the chopping block? And as sad as it is to say that, and as sad as it is that that's the reality of what PlayStation is facing and what, you know, PlayStation players are gonna have to deal with, it is the reality. It is, because these games are not cheap. They're not cheap to make. They're not cheap to sustain. We already saw what, arguably, what is the most talented studio that PlayStation owns, which is Naughty Dog. They took a game that they already made. Factions has already existed. It already had a fan base. They took that game and they were expanding it. Okay. This is a much easier situation than just creating something from scratch with no foundation, and now you're making it. So they took this game and used it as a foundation, and they built from that, and that did not survive. That could not escape PlayStation's lack of money to help fund this, and that's from Naughty Dog, one of the top tier studios at PlayStation. What's gonna happen with all these no-name studios that PlayStation purchased to make these games that we haven't seen anything from? What's gonna happen to Bungie's game where they came into this as the leaders, as the ones who were going to dictate what was gonna happen. They were gonna tell PlayStation Studios, "Yo, your game's not good or your game is good." Meanwhile, their ship is burning. Their ship is burning. They're delaying their games. They can't keep up with their games. They are in a position where they are gonna be taken over by Sony. So what's gonna happen to that game when those people who are miserable to go into the office every day to work on these games? What's gonna happen with those games? How can you, as a PlayStation fanboy, be okay with what's happening right now? Because I tell you right now, I'm not seeing anyone up in arms. I'm not seeing anyone yelling at Sony executives or at the PlayStation account. I don't see any of these PlayStation dudes out here fighting to make something happen for them. What I do see is I see a bunch of PlayStation ponies who are sitting there worried about Starfield, worried about Redfall. I see a lot of them begging so desperately for Blade to be multi-platform. A lot of y'all got Rick rolled. I know a lot of you got Rick rolled. You watching it right now. You're like, damn it, see, buddy, you know. I do know. You got Rick rolled. You got so pumped when I forget his name, but he posted that and he said, "No, it's coming." And he put the little PlayStation tag on the video, the thumbnail. Oh, you clicked it and you got Rick rolled. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Shit, I got Rick rolled, but I got Rick rolled because I was laughing at the idea that this was even happening because I knew it was fake, but yeah, I thought it was real. You were hopeful. Listen, just take this for what it is. I know a lot of you are coping with this, right? You're coping with this and you're saying, "Well, this is good because they're gonna focus back on their single player games." Yes, they're gonna focus back. All I can say is if they thought they needed their whole studio to work on this multiplayer game to make it something that was gonna be good and worthwhile and successful, what are they gonna do with 2 smaller teams working on those single player games, and how long are they gonna take? Are they going to transition everybody to one game? And what is this outlook? You know, they're working on these games, but how far along are they? Are we talking 2025, 26? I gotta tell you, if I was a pony right now and I'm looking down that road and I don't see a map on there because there's nothing there. I see 2025, right? 2025, you got Wolverine, maybe. More than likely delayed to 2026, right? But you have that, right? But you got nothing else. And when you start thinking about the fact that these Uncharted or Last of Us, whatever I doubt they're working on a brand new IP, but if they are, whatever it is, how long are they gonna take to bring that out after having to basically waste all this energy they did on this multiplayer? Not looking great. Not looking great. Meanwhile, and I don't mean to rub it in, I kinda do. We eating good over here. We eating so good on the Xbox side, baby. Our roadmap is delicious. We have so much that's coming, so much more that we don't even know yet. It's crazy how much content we have over here, and we're gonna get it all for El Gratis in Game Pass. Mm, it's a beautiful thing. With that, guys, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to talk about. This was a beautiful, beautiful scenario that took place, and it's beautiful in the sense that the ponies who sat there comparing Blade to this game, the concept art, going ahead and trying to downplay Blade, your game's not even coming out. Your game's not even coming out. You guys wanna spend all this time talking about our games when you guys ain't got nothing to talk about, and one of the ones that you were hoping and clinging on, "Oh, it's gonna come still, it's gonna come still." It ain't coming, fam. It ain't coming. It's gone. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.